Steve Wiggins, and this is the Groundworks Ministries podcast. Now today, we're reading from the book of Jeremiah, chapter 34, and let's focus on verses 12 through 16. Then the word of the Lord came to Jeremiah from the Lord. This is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. I made a covenant with your ancestors when I brought them out of the land of Egypt, out of the place of slavery, saying, at the end of 7 years, each of you must free his Hebrew brother who sold himself to you. He may serve you 6 years, but then you must send him out free from you. But your ancestors did not obey me or pay attention. Today you repented and did what pleases me, each of you, proclaiming freedom for his neighbor. You made a covenant before me at the temple called by my name. But you have changed your minds and profaned my name. Now, I love Disneyland. I don't know if you appreciate that or not. I hope you do. I love the rides. I love the shows, the parade, the fireworks, even the food. And you know, another thing I love about Disneyland is how everyone leaves their strollers unattended. And then they go and ride the rides and they come back and they find everything just as they left it. And I don't know why everyone is so honest at Disneyland, but I guarantee nobody would leave their stroller unattended at the convenience store across the street from Disneyland. It's like there's some kind of honor code at Disney. People just want to believe in a better world. And sadly, much of that community mindset stays at Disney once everyone leaves the parking garage. And there was a time in Israel's history when they wanted to believe in a better world where they obeyed God's word. They even made a special covenant with him. It lasted about a day. They may have been sincere in their desire to follow him, but in the end, their flesh won over. Their will to follow him was overridden by a desire to enslave their brothers. This is after they were freed from slavery in Egypt. And the whole scenario is a textbook example of what it looks like when we break the third commandment. Exodus 20, verse 7, you shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless who takes his name in vain. Now, the correct understanding of taking the Lord's name in vain has been missed by most people, even in the church. Quite honestly, many Christians believe that taking the Lord's name in vain means using his name as a curse word. And while that's never a good idea, actually taking or using the Lord's name in vain describes a situation where people declare to have repented and to have become God's people who bear his name, and yet they choose to live as if they still belong to the world. They claim to have received his name, and yet they received it in vain because they never surrendered their trust to him. I'll take the name and the blessing, but I'm not giving you the trust. His name bears his blessing, and receiving his name is a byproduct of his grace toward our faithfulness when we place our trust in Jesus as Lord. But the essence of a Lord is you do what he says. People who receive his name in vain choose to identify themselves as believers and yet forfeit the blessing that's only given to the faithful. God cares about our faithfulness, and his blessing is directly related to our decision to follow him. So sure, our salvation is secured by his faithfulness toward us by his grace, but why would we forfeit his blessing? Just to return to the worldly ways that we repented from when we were pleading for salvation. I'm Steve Wiggins, and this is the Groundworks Ministries podcast. Now, Groundworks Ministries operates entirely through financial donations from faithful people just like you. And yes, we need your monthly support. You know, donating is secure and it's easy at our website, groundworksministries.com. Another way to help is to tell people about Groundworks Ministries. Share these podcasts with friends and family and on your social media. And of course, you can always direct folks to our website, groundworksministries.com.